Weeks digs in. First pitch fastball inside, and we are underway. Ricky, a couple of hits, scored a couple of runs in a game here last night. In the air, short right center field. Taveras will call off Jay Bruce, and Weeks retired. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. We talked about Votto and Phillips suffering from the flu. So it's Nix, Taveras, and Bruce in the outfield. The changes are in the infield. Rosales and Giannis on the left side. Hairston and Hernandez on the right, with a battery of Micah Owings and Ryan Hanigan. One away for Corey Hart, the Milwaukee right fielder, an all-star a season ago. And he looks at strike one. Hart, a .283 batter with 3 long ones, 12 runs batted in, had 1 hit, and started a big night of scoring for Milwaukee offensively when in the first inning he had a 2-run single, then scored on a 3-run home run by Hardy.
Well, he bats in a lot of places in this lineup, doesn't he, Tom? Every time you turn around, he's 5 or 6 or 2 or 3.
And he has gone on 3 straight pitches by Owings. And just like that, 2 away. And there's that pitch up in the strike zone you were talking about a moment ago.
That's the pitch that Owings really likes to use late in the count. He goes down, down, and then boom, up and out over the plate. Normally you would think that's a pitch that's going to get powdered from a sinker ball guy. Don't get mistaken by watching Owings because of the way that he lets the ball move. He is not a sinker ball pitcher. He likes to get the ball up and get fly ball outs.
2 away, and a first pitch breaking ball to Ryan Braun is off the outside corner.
The difference for Micah Owings in getting the ball up, he likes to go up above the hands, jam the hitter or get him to pop the ball up instead of getting them to hit the ball on the ground.
Micah, 26 years old, a native Georgian. Originally drafted out of Georgia Tech by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 3rd round in 2005. Came over last year in the Adam Dunn deal from Arizona, and of course did not throw a pitch as a Red. He came to the plate 4 times for the Reds last year, had a couple of hits and 3 RBIs. But due to an arm injury, he did not pitch after the trade at all. The fastball is inside. 3-1 to Ryan Braun.
For a lot of times, Tom, he's just like having an extra hitter in the lineup. Not that he would be the extra hitter that you would have from a DH type standpoint, but he's pretty doggone close.
3-1 to Ryan Braun, and there's strike 2. That's a good 3-1 pitch right there. Down in the zone, right around the knees.
That's the down that I'm talking about with Micah Owings. If he can pitch there when he goes down in the strike zone, it makes that high fastball look that much more effective when he comes in on the hands.
So now the payoff pitch on Ryan Braun. And it's lined right at Giannis in a perfect 1-2-3 opening frame for Micah Owings. The Reds come to bat against Braden Looper when we return. tonight. Without Votto and Brandon Phillips, it'll be Willie Taveras in center. Jerry Hairston Jr. plays at second base with Jay Bruce in a 3-hole in right field. Ramon Hernandez, his first career start at first. Lance Nix has been tearing it up. See what he's done in his 4 starts this season. Adam Rosales bats 6. The latter third of Ryan Hennigan, Paul Yadish, and Michael Owings. And starting at 4, Milwaukee. Boy, he's a good, solid pitcher. We've seen him in recent years with the Cardinals. They turned him into a starter after nearly 10 years as a reliever. Braden Looper.
I was in St. Louis when Braden Looper came up. They were trying to make him a starter even though he was a closer out of Wichita State. He tore a bicep muscle in half, or at least tore it off of the bone. That held him back for a little while, and that's what really ultimately put him into the bullpen. And that's where he really learned how to pitch, was out of the bullpen, and now he's back in the rotation where they wanted him all along. And all of this happened in St. Louis.
Strike 1 to Willie Taveras, a .264 batter with a couple of runs batted in. It's a ball and a strike. And Reds have already seen Looper once this season.
And when he's successful, Tom, he stays right down there at the kneecaps.
But it foul.
Good idea by Taveras. And I think that's what you and I have talked about time and time again, Tom. In order for the Reds to be successful, right off the bat, they've got to take the fight to the other team. How do they do that? With this type of baseball. The bunting, the hitting and running, the stealing of bases. But as you know, you can't steal bases until you get somebody on base, and Willie Taveras was trying to do that via the bunt there.
1-2 on Willie is grounded foul up the third baseline. We talked about it in Florida. And really, it's a story for every team in all of baseball every night. I mean, for the tens of thousands of games that are played every season in baseball, the team that scores first wins 2/3 of the time. And you look at the Reds this year, when they have scored first, they are 10-2. When the opposition scores first, they are 4-11. Hardy behind the bag, cuts it loose in time to give Taveras one away. The Brewers on defense, presented by Ford. It's Braun, Cameron, Hart, left, center, and right. Those guys are there every night. Bill Hall healthy again. He's down at third. Hardy at short, Weeks at second, Fielder at first. And a battery of Looper and Kendall, and you got to look at the Reds defensively tonight as well. So Jerry Hairston Jr. at 185 with a home run and a couple of runs batted in. He takes a strike. Greg Gibson calls the balls and strikes tonight. Andy Fletcher works at first, Ted Barrett at second, and Tim Timmons, replacing Tim McClellan on this umpiring crew, is down at third. When the Reds went to Milwaukee, you may remember they won the first 2 games of that series and they lost the finale. And the man on the mound who got that victory is the man on the mound tonight, Braden Looper. That one line hard into left field, and battling just that little sliver of sun coming through the very top of the stadium is Ryan Braun for the second out.
This was almost ugly right there at this time of the day, where the slivers of sun, as Tom described it, slide through the openings in the stadium. You come right in, boom, it hits you right in the eyeball. And if you don't have your glasses on, as Ryan Braun did there, it makes that catch very difficult to make.
Of course, in about another month from now, that left fielder will be basking in the sun this time of night.
You got that right. He'll be fighting that sun for a good 3 or 4 innings.
Up and away to Jay Bruce, 2-0. Jay hit his 7th home run. That's a team high in the game here last night. He was one of the few bright spots in the game. He had a couple of hits, including the home run, and also drew a walk.
The tougher that the Reds make it on Looper early in the ball game, the better off they'll be late. If you can keep Looper from finding that perfect rhythm early in the game, you keep him searching for it, and you've got a chance to pop a couple of runs off of him early.
And here's one popped early. If it's fair, it's gone. It's fair, it's gone. is a team-high 8th home run for Jay Bruce, and the Reds are off and running with that 1-0 lead.
Jay really made a phenomenal swing here on a fastball that was meant to get right in on his hands. The ball tailed out over the plate ever so slightly. And Bruce, the ball was meant to get in here, and it didn't quite get there. And Bruce popped that bad boy for a ride.
Looper had close to ownership early on in the young career of Jay Bruce. Jay was just 1 for 13 against him before that at bat. But a long one here in the first inning. And now Ramon Hernandez. Originally, Ramon was batting in the 6th spot tonight, but then when Votto went down and Phillips went down, Hernandez, who makes his first career start at first base, is in the lineup and hitting cleanup. Hardy can't find the handle, and that'll be an infield hit.
Every time a batter early in the ball game has something that's positive happen to him, when he comes back to the dugout, the first thing that he does is try to explain what the pitcher has, what he's throwing, what exactly you saw at the plate, and you see what Jay Bruce sees. That's what we see right there, a fastball that runs over the plate. He goes back to the dugout. He's talking about turning over the pitch to hitting Coach Brooke Jacoby there. That will spread throughout the dugout. That way every hitter has an opportunity to come to the plate and understand what he's got right now.
What's a Hardy cut on a similar kind of pitch to Lance Nix. Well, what a job this young man has done. Of course, he got a cup of coffee each of the last 2 years with Milwaukee, trying to get healthy from that devastating shoulder injury that certainly sidetracked his career after leaving Texas. Making his 5th start tonight, a home run, 4 batted in, a .353 batting. And despite the fact that he hasn't even reached 35 at bats on the year, he has the 2nd most doubles on the team. He had one here last night, his 6th.
He's put together some great ABs, great concentration. Has a difficult time with left-handers right now simply because he has not faced them that much. But as far as right-handers, he's really putting together some great swings and some great fight.
1-1 pitch. Pulled foul. That's where he had his double in the game last night on a 3-2 pitch right up that first base line.
And fans, you can see when Lance Nix swings the bat as we see Prince Fielder come diving for that baseball. That's how close that was. For Fielder to come diving towards the line, he knows it has to be close.
If Fielder landed on that bag, they might want to get a needle and a pump back in that thing. 1-2 now to Nix. And this is where you really see, and you hate to throw a blanket over American League, National League, but we were talking before the game. Nix is clearly the kind of guy that gives you American League-like at-bats. He'll get to 2 strikes in a count, not afraid to hit, not afraid to take a pitch, and before you know it, you'll look up and he'll be at 3-2 seemingly every other at-bat.
Same with the man that's in front of him. A lot of it has to do with the strength that he possesses in those shoulders.
Struck him out on a high fastball, and that will end the inning. But a home run by Jay Bruce has given the Reds a 1-0 lead at the end of an inning. you are looking for major league trouble. We saw it from Bronson Arroyo last night. Walked 2 batters in the first inning. Walked another batter in the second. All 3 walks he had in his inning plus scored. Now the Reds this year in their wins walk right at 3 batters per game. They walk nearly 5 batters per game in their losses. So now let's take it a step further. Of those nearly 5 walks per game in the losses, what percentage of those walks score? Well, the 4th most in the league in losses percentage wise at nearly 37%.
And those are walks are deadly anytime because they're free passes. You can make guys swing the bat. You're much better off getting people out in the long run, and the less walks that you have in ball games and throughout the season, the more times you're going to win those ball games, especially the tight ones.
And of course, when you're talking about a Reds offense that's had so much trouble scoring runs in bunches.
Oh.
I mean, when all of a sudden you're looking at a 1.5 per game on average in those losses where those walks are scoring. So you're starting the game behind almost 2-0. And for this Reds offense, it's tough enough at 0-0.
It's just something that you cannot do. If you're going to be a club that is going to survive on pitching and defense and timely hitting, you cannot walk that many batters.
Off the end of the bat in a short center field from Fielder, and it ends up falling as Taveras broke back on the ball initially. And you understand with a guy like Fielder taking a hearty cut.
You can watch as the ball goes into the air. Check him out here. He's going back. Well, once you take more than 2 steps backwards, you never are going to be able to catch up. And for a guy that's supposed to be a Gold Glove center fielder, that play can't happen.
So the leadoff man aboard. Reds lead 1-0 here in the second inning, and now it's Mike Cameron, and he looks at a first pitch fastball at the knees, a called strike.
Normally on that play, Tom, if you're unsure about it, you take the step backwards, you freeze till you recognize where the ball is, and then you either sprint in or you sprint to the wall.
0-1 to Cameron, a .305 batter, 6 home runs and 16 runs batted in. A breaking ball stays high. Cameron 2 hits, reached on a walk, reached on an error, scored 2 runs last night. He is off to a very good start this year. In the air, foul ground, first base side. This ball's out of play. Ball and 2 strikes, and a fastball is high and tight. Fielder, a very short lead held on by Hernandez. This one in the hole. Giannis, a nice play. There's one to turn, and no. Cameron runs very well. That's a nice play by Giannis. And the Reds nearly turn 2 on a tough ball to turn it on with a speedy runner.
Watch Giannis use his knee to stop himself so he can get his body up off the ground. You can see that left knee hit down into the ground to stop himself in order for him to get his body up. You see the knee right there. Turns it up, flips it around, and then he's ready to go. Tough play for Jerry Hairston Jr. Not used to playing that spot. It's awfully difficult to turn it over in a hurry from the blind side with somebody bearing down on you.
especially a guy that weighs about 280. And now the batter, J.J. Hardy. He hit a 3-run home run to the opposite field down the right field line last night in that 5-run first inning off Bronson Arroyo. Told you about Hardy, who's been so good for the Brewers the last couple of seasons. I mean, he's been among the better offensive shortstops in the National League since getting the everyday job. 1 ball and 1 strike. But man, was he struggling to begin this year, so much so that the manager, Ken Maka, sat him down for a couple of days, put him back in over the weekend, and including last night's game, over his last 4 games, he's 7 for 14 with that home run and 8 RBIs.
Sometimes, Tom, it takes a little shake. It takes a little time to sit over there and actually see the speed of the ball game so that you can slow it down for yourself when you go and take the field. But I think more times than not, that sit down is a little slap in the face. Hey, let's go.
Breaking ball fouled back out of play, and Owings ahead of J.J. Hardy at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ken Maka in his first year as manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. He had a solid run there with Oakland. Had a winning percentage over 5 seasons of nearly 57%. From 03 to 06. He managed the Athletics twice. They won the American League West in 03 and then in 2006. In fact, that year they advanced all the way to the American League Championship Series before bowing out to Detroit. And Maka was let go after taking a team to the LCS.
Sometimes your vision of what you want your club to do or to perform is different than the general manager. Everybody has a boss.
Legitimate chance for 2 here. And that's a double play to end the inning. So a blue pit, nobody left, middle of the second. The Reds lead Milwaukee 1-0. Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. By JTM, food, family, fun. JTM. And by Jeep, it's a new day. Have fun out there. Jeep. Welcome back to singles night here at Great American Ballpark. Big night for Jim Day.
And all singles in the Cincinnati area.
Understand they've got the ballpark crawl.
I think there's some Twitter going on out there right now.
Soft liner by Adam Rosales, leaping to get it his rookie Weeks, and that's the way the second inning starts for the Reds. One away. Moya.
Got that ball running in on the hands of Rosales. He tried to inside out the ball, but by the time he got to it, the ball had run in just a tad too far down the bat, too close to his hands.
Now Ryan Hannigan, 8 hits and 22 at bats so far this season. Hannigan hit the ball very hard twice in 4 at bats last night, had 1 hit to show for it. He was the one that hit that ball that Chris Duffy made our John Morrell hot dog play of the game on. That diving catch on the warning track in deep right center field. Well, what a play that was.
Not only the catch, but just the slide along the warning track, which is not made out of feathers, I might add. It's called crushed stone, or crushed brick, if you will. And it's probably, they're probably still picking it out of his elbow now. You can kind of hear that in your ear as you slide on it.
Down where you live at, as you like to say, they have that clay, right? Isn't there a lot of clay in Mississippi? I know there is in Georgia.
Watch the run, catch, slide. Oh, baby, baby. Let me come back into the training room. This is where you run back in. You've got your chest poked out. Everything's looking good. You get in the hallway. You get in the hallway or the runway of the dugout and you scream, "Trainer! Come pick this stuff out of my elbow and my forearm." Skip can't make it today. Yeah, big play yesterday. Got
well, you know Chris Duffy.
I know. It's just
I know you.
Playing around.
3-2 pitch. And Hannigan lifts a fly ball into right field. Playable for Corey Hart, and that's out number 2. Well, you see the beautiful new Toyota Tundra out there in deep left center field. If a Reds player hits the Tundra sign or the one between the tall stacks out in right center, Daniel Hubner of Covington, Kentucky, the Commonwealth, will win that Tundra. Register for your chance to win during an upcoming game at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Those hills over in the Commonwealth, basking in this glorious sunshine. About 20 minutes to 8 Eastern time on a picture perfect night. There you get a look across the mighty Ohio. Cowboy, when you were a player, what part of town did you live in back in your playing days? When you were here in Cincinnati.
Same place I live now, up in Montgomery, Blue Ash area.
That's up that tall cotton up there.
No, we call it high cotton.
High cotton. Pardon me.
But I didn't know. That's just where everybody was living. I bought a house. I went through the kiss of death. I didn't believe any of the veterans. They told me, "Don't buy a house, cowboy. You buy a house, you're going to be traded." And I thought, you know, I just signed a new 3-year deal. There's no chance I'm getting traded out of here. Bought the house, got everything fixed up. Wasn't even 2 weeks. Gone. St. Louis, here I come.
2-2 pitch. Fouled back out of play.
Right.
So you're able to sneak into Montgomery Inn every now and again.
There ain't no sneaking in. When you go in there and
that's an all-out assault when you come through the door.
When you buy 2 slabs, one for dinner and one for midnight, they know you're coming.
Paul Giannis, of course, pitched in the game last.
Yeah,
yeah. And there you see his line. Dusty Baker made the comment after the game in his managerial career. It's the first time he has ever used a position player to pitch. Didn't want to do it. But he saved the bullpen. Got a couple of strikeouts. Gave up the 5 runs.
And I think if the Reds had an off day coming up, that would not have happened.
Yeah. Good swings in this at bat. And it is a base hit, and then ricochets about 30 feet away from Cameron, and Giannis will end up at second base with a 2-out double.
Now this is where having Micah Owings on this ball club makes all the difference in the world in the number 9 spot. You have an excuse me play in center field where the ball bounces off the knee of the center fielder. You move into second base with a 2-out double. Normally a pitcher is thinking, well, I got the pitcher coming up. I'm fixing to punch him out. Well, in this situation, you better bear down big time, or it's going to be 2-0. Could be 3 if he catches.
Mike Owings leads all active pitchers in career batting average. A hearty cut there. His career batting average, and we're talking about guys with a minimum number 100 at bats. His career batting average is .314. The next closest is Adam Wainwright. We'll see him on Sunday with the Cardinals. A career .280 batting. You talked about it could be 3-0. I mean, already 5 home runs in the career of Mike Owings. And you got to remember, he has not even pitched 2 full years in the major leagues.
And he won the 2007 Silver Slugger Award, which is the best hitting pitcher.
Hit hard right down to Bill Hall. And that will end the inning. So a double by Giannis. He's stranded at second. We move to the third where the Reds lead on a Jay Bruce home run, 1-0. Game series presented by KOI Auto Parts. Tickets are still available for this great weekend series. Cowboy, we need this place jam-packed starting tomorrow night.
Well, it would be awfully nice if we could get the support of the fans as well as the play of the Reds. I think the Reds are going to come to play against the Cardinals. I hope that the fans are coming in support of the Reds, because the proximity of these two ball clubs, there's going to be a lot of Cardinal fans here. And the last thing that you want to have happen in your own ballpark is have more cheers for Cardinals players than you do for your Reds players.
381 Reds. That's 381 REDS. 4 tickets are log on right now to Reds.com, and we'll see you starting tomorrow night. Expecting a beautiful weather weekend, we're told. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At least that's what the forecasters tell us. And that's always a mighty roll of the dice.
And you know, I can really see it like for real if you'll stop by the Cowboy corner down by the Reds community.
I wanted to bring that up as Bill Hall starts off the inning at ball one. For those of you that do not know about the Cowboys corner before every home game over the weekends here at Great American Ballpark, right when you walk in the main entrance,
right there at Gapper's Alley,
home plate, by the Reds Community Fund booth, is Cowboys corner. He'll be out there shaking hands and taking pictures and signing autographs and kissing babies and, I mean, anything and just about everything.
I'll have my old uniform on that I wore when I was here. I'll have my cowboy boots and my coat. You can't miss me. That's my three good things right there. I won't have my wife, but I got all the other stuff.
How about your dog?
Well, I don't have a dog right now. It's a long story.
2-2 to Bill Hall. And now full count.
Ooh, that was a pretty close pitch right there.
Bill Hall has had some tightness in his hamstring. Had to lead Monday's game in the second inning. They didn't want to take a chance with the conditions here last night. That pitch just missed the outside corner, and it's a walk to begin the third. I didn't miss by much.
Had a good pitch on the pitch before that was inside. This one he was trying to get to tail back to the outside corner, but the ball stayed straight. It did not turn. If the ball doesn't turn, you don't get the call.
Now Jason Kendall at batting average at .215 without a home run and 8 runs batted in. Kendall drew a walk, knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly, and singled in 3 plate appearances last night.
Kendall used to be awfully difficult to double up because of his speed in his younger days, even though he was a catcher. Now you get a ground ball hit right to an infielder. He is a double play.
Bill Hall with that tender hamstring doesn't figure to run. 1 ball and 1 strike on Kendall. Jay Bruce, a solo home run in the Reds' first inning. And that's the only noise we've had in this one by either team so far. And this should be a double play. There's one, and there you have it, Cowboy.
Owings is getting this by changing eye levels. The pitch before that was way up and away from Jason Kendall. This pitch is away, but it's not up and away, and he swings right over the top of it, right to the shortstop. Shortstop to Hairston, on to Hernandez. And I don't know how many times we'll call that this year, Giannis to Hairston to Hernandez, but they got it.
Now Braden Looper with 2 down and nobody on. He looks at a strike. Looper 0 for 8 as a batter so far this year. And 2 to the pitcher Looper. That's an emergency swing right there, and it's fouled away.
And you see where Owings is going with those pitches. He's not trying to go down in the strike zone to get a call on the inside corner or the outside corner. He's elevating the ball, trying to get the ball above Looper's hands, so he'll either swing and miss it or pop it up.
0-2 again to Looper. And just off the outside corner, a shade low.
Owings has definitely got the eye level change working today. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes right back up to the fastball up high again.
There's a fair ball. Alertly picked up by Hannigan before it drifted into foul ground. And that'll be the final out of the inning.
Quick move.
Smart play by the Reds catcher Ryan Hannigan. Middle of the third. Reds still in front, 1-0. Rays at Fenway to take on the Red Sox. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at a special time, 3:30 Eastern, following This Week in Baseball at 3 o'clock on the Fox Network. A picture-perfect night in Cincinnati, and the Reds out to a 1-0 lead over Braden Looper and the Milwaukee Brewers after the game. The Brewers skip out of town, and the Reds await the St. Louis Cardinals' arrival. In fact, the Cardinals might be here about now. They had a day game earlier today, which, by the way, they won again 5-2 over the Pirates. So the Cardinals go to 19-10 on the year. That is the second-best record in the National League. Second only to the streaking Dodgers, who have won 7 straight games. They're 21-8. And the Dodgers, of course, set an all-time major league record last night by starting a year 13-0 at home. An all-time big league record.
So does Manny have to take that suspension starting right now? I guess he does, huh? That may have a bearing on that lossless streak at home.
High fly ball into left field, hit pretty well by Willie Taveras, and that ball is gone. A rare home run indeed for the Red center fielder Willie Taveras. It's his first home run since June the 13th of last year.
Tom, that was not a bad pitch in that situation. It was a sinker. It just happened to be in a place where Taveras has a strength. That's down and in. He was looking there. Looper has got a natural sinker that runs down and in to the batters, and this ball was down and in. It just happened to catch more of the plate than he wanted. But that was very similar to the ball that we saw the other night in Pittsburgh that Taveras hit all the way to the 410 sign. And this is when Dan Hort and I were doing the ball game. And the left fielder, Niger Morgan, full speed and a full dive into the 410 area out in left center field to make the catch.
On swinging is Jerry Hairston Jr. Second strikeout of the game by Looper, and that's the first out here in the third.
Which that ball that he hit in Pittsburgh, had it been in this ballpark, number 2.
It's interesting to know that we said June the 13th of last season was Taveras' last home run. That was during interleague play against the White Sox, which is the single most homer-friendly ballpark by far in Major League Baseball.
Isn't that amazing?
That's a U.S. Cellular Field. So now Jay Bruce, he homered his last time up, his 8th of the year.
Haven't done that many ball games in that ballpark, even before I came to the Reds. But in the beginning, that ballpark was not a real homer-friendly park until they moved the fences in. They changed the wind pattern inside the ballpark by some of the screens that they put around the ballpark, and now the ball jumps out of there with some kind of regularity.
And they got plenty of guys in that lineup that can bang them out of the ballpark. Well, those White Sox have lost 4 in a row. And there's a 4-pitch walk to Jay Bruce. So he's a base runner with a run home here in the Reds' 3rd. And a 2-0 Reds lead. And there's Willie showing offense. Alex Gonzalez back. Take a look at that.
Went in there and stole Alex's bat because Alex is hurt. Can't use it, so I'm going to use it, he said.
Well, he ought to keep on using it.
You got that right. This just goes to show you what we were talking about earlier, Tom, with Braden Looper. If he has difficulty early in the ball game, he has a hard time settling down. He just threw 3 pitches to Jay Bruce, weren't even close. That's after the home run.
Ball 1 to Ramon Hernandez.
And some of the pitches that he threw to Jerry Hairston Jr., had he not swung at those pitches, they would have probably been balls and out of the strike zone. He just got a little too aggressive.
Jay Bruce, only 1 stolen base attempt this year, a successful one.
But he has a man standing at home plate that doesn't normally hit behind him, or has just started to hit behind him, that can shoot that ball into right field with the best of them.
And Bruce on the go, and there it is. Shot into right field as the Reds play hit and run. And Jay Bruce easily coast into 3rd. Cowboy, you're on a little mini roll tonight.
My lucky night.
You might want to shoot down to Belterra a little later on.
No kidding. Rolling eyes. Just got it out of my mouth, and sure enough, Bruce is on the move, and Hernandez executes it to a T.
Well, now at the minimum, you got to get that run in from 3rd with only 1 out, and here's Lance Nix. He struck out his first time up. Well, Hernandez, a pair of singles on singles night at the ballpark. And Nix a batter. Big swing and a foul ball back out of play.
Really get things going in the right way for the Reds here with a big knock. He had never faced Looper coming up to that first AB, so after that, I think he understands what he has on the mound.
0-1 to Nix. And it's off the outside corner to even the count.
See how quick Lance Nix can make some adjustments.
Looper trying to get him to chase that pitch down and away and roll over it to the right side to start a potential double play ball.
Well, in his first AB, the first pitch he saw, he jerked down the right field line foul, but it was on the ground, and that's what Braden Looper would like for him to do here, except right at an infielder.
Nix, just 28 years old, was playing every day with the Texas Rangers. When he was barely passed his 21st birthday. Called up in 2003. Was an everyday player in 04. It hit 14 home runs early that year before he injured his shoulder. High fly ball. More than deep enough to bring in the run from third. Tagging and scoring is Jay Bruce. Well done, Lance Nix. And the Reds now lead 3-0.
Well, he got the job done getting the run in from third base. And I assure you that Braden Looper will remember that pitch right there, because that was within another warning track length of going out of the ballpark for a 3-run jack.
I mean, it's only natural for the fans, and if you listen to talk radio, you know the fans continue to.
They love the guy.
Want to see Nix get more and more playing time, and when you just look at his production, I mean, you can understand where they're coming from. I mean, you take a look at the fact that Nix has 35 at-bats this season. 15 of the 35 are as a pinch hitter. So only 20 at-bats as a starter. But he now has a home run, 5 RBIs, 6 doubles, and a triple. And there's another liner by Rosales. So he's lined to second, now lined to third. The Reds tack on 2 more and lead 3-0.
To get people out, you get the ball inside, make hitters conscious of the ball in, then down and away, and make them hit the ball on the ground. That's what Owings is trying to do. Then again, he'll throw a breaking ball and stay out there, and you can see Owings looking at his catcher Hannigan. Hannigan says, get that ball out here. Next pitch, he makes the adjustment, gets the ball on the outside part of the plate. You saw the rest. That was a double play. Great execution by the pitcher, great communication catcher to pitcher, and that's how you get it done.
Leadoff man to start things here in the Milwaukee 4th inning is Ricky Weeks. Weeks flied out to Willie Taveras, his only at bat. Owings has allowed the 1 hit. That was a misplayed ball in center field on a little blooper off the end of the bat by Prince Fielder. And Micah has walked a batter. He's also struck out a batter. Flare into short right field. Bruce coming and cannot get it. So both Milwaukee hits have been just like that. One by a fielder, now one by Ricky Weeks. All right, time to take a look. Pipe down at our Aflac trivia question. Ryan Braun became the second player in Major League history to hit 30 or more home runs in each of his first 2 seasons. Who was the first? We will give you a short while to think about that. Corey Hart, the batter, he struck out his first time up.
I think I know.
Well, who do you think it is?
Eminem.
Who?
That's his initial. Eminem.
Mickey Mantle? Who?
Mark McGuire. That's what I'm saying. You don't think so?
It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
That's exactly what it is, I guess.
All right. Well, it's a good guess.
Anytime.
Although I'm not going with him.
Anytime trivia pops up, you can be assured that my answer was a guess.
1-1 to Hart. I am wrestling between Albert Pujols and Frank Thomas. And those are straight guesses as well.
Okay. Good luck.
Well, we'll see what happens. If I had to pick between the two, I'd say Albert Pujols. Rounded down to third.
Can't look at the computer.
Rosales throws and does not get the out. And Hairston is saying that he was reaching in to make the exchange. And the second base umpire, Ted Barrett, is not buying. He said nope. Of course, it took forever. Ball was hit so hard. And Adam Rosales just could not find the handle on the ball.
He bobbled the ball and tried to get in too much of a hurry. And by that point, threw the ball. But it looked as though, to me, Tom, that Ted Barrett had made the out call. Watch. Well, we don't see Barrett there, but it looked to me as though he was making the out call at second base. And we'll see here. See if we can find Ted. Well, can't get Ted in the lineup there. Maybe we can show it to you in a minute. But Ted was definitely making an out call.
And because of him making that out call, Hairston has been hung with the error. Because the umpire is making the out call. And then after he made it, the ball was dropped.
See that right there? He was making the out call, getting ready to make the fist. And then he made a safe call. I don't understand it.
Well, all of a sudden, the Brewers, after a little pop-up single and a short right, and now a misplayed ball on what should have been at least one out. It would have been nearly impossible to double up Hart.
I know that there is a rule that says that you have to be able to take the ball out of your glove. I do understand that because it's happened to first baseman before. But I'm not sure that that's the rule that applies there. Maybe it was. Who knows?
0-1 to Ryan Braun. And he chases a fastball up. It's 0-2.
The ball did come out of Jerry Hairston's glove before his hand touched the baseball.
Yep.
And maybe that is what Ted is saying, and Ted Barrett is saying, the umpire at second base, was that you didn't pull the ball out. The ball slung out of your glove.
Yeah, you never had control of it to get the out, the force out at second base. So a 2-1 with nobody out. It's 0-2 on Ryan Braun. And there's a bouncer off the glove of Owings. And the Reds will not get an out. Boy, this is just bad luck for the Reds in this inning. You get a bleeder in the right for a hit. You can't make a play on a ground ball to third. And then Owings, his natural reaction is to go up and get it. It ricochets to Giannis. It looked like Giannis had a play at second, decided to go to first, and by the time he made the decision, it was too late. That's got to be an infield hit. Wow, what a wacky inning. And now all of a sudden, the go-ahead run is Prince Fielder standing at the plate with nobody out. Owings had some bad luck in that first inning in Pittsburgh on Saturday. A lot of balls that just found holes. Not that they were hit all that solidly, but he allowed the 4 runs on 4 hits in the Pirate first inning. Wound up giving up 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings in that game. Hammered down the right field line, and this is trouble. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. They put the brakes on Braun. It's a 2-run double by Fielder, and it's a 1-run game.
This is who the guy the Brewers want up in that situation. A hanging breaking ball inside had no bite on it whatsoever, and that's what happens to it. Right in the right field corner, and Bruce has to go all the way to the corner to get it. And we've said this a million times, Tom, you cannot give good teams extra outs. I don't care if you're not used to playing that position. I don't care if you're having a difficult time, if it's a bad day at the office, whatever. You forget about everything before you cross those lines and you get ready to play the game. If it's not your normal position, if you're not used to playing that position, then you get yourself mentally ready before the bell ever rings to play that position.
Runners at second and third. It's a 1-run game. Nobody out. Mike Cameron the batter. And Owings going to work. And that pitch stays up high. Cameron, Braun at third, Fielder at second, and there's a number that'll bring in another run, and they better hurry to get it out, and they do. So it's a 3-3 game. Give Cameron the RBI. Fielder advances on to third, and there's 1 out here in the 4th inning.
They've hit really 1 ball that was hard. That was the ball off the bat of Prince Fielder. Everything else has been just a absolute mess up.
Well, now the Reds will bring the infield in with Fielder at third and 1 out. And J.J. Hardy, the batter, he bounced into a double play, ending the 2nd inning.
And it's not as though the Reds are not capable of turning the double play. They've already turned 2. They turned 1 in the 2nd, turned 1 in the 3rd. They had a chance to turn 1 in the 4th, and just totally messed it up.
1-0 to J.J. Hardy. A fastball is on the outer edge, a called strike. 1-1 to Hardy. So we begin anew. Reds got 1 in the 1st inning on a Jay Bruce home run, scored twice in the 3rd on a home run by Taveras. A walk, a hit, a sac fly by Nix. But the Brewers with 3 runs here in the 4th, and the go-ahead run at 3rd with 1 out. And it's 1-2 to Hardy.
Now let me ask you this, Tom. The ground ball that was hit to Giannis with a runner running from 1st to 2nd base. If there's no runner running from 1st to 2nd base as he catches the ball and throws it to 1st, he hesitated before he threw the ball to 1st base. If it's a normal ground ball, he picks it up, he throws to 1st, the guy's out. But yet, because he hesitated to look at 2nd, then threw to 1st, and the guy beat the ball out, the pitcher is credited with giving up a hit. That isn't right.
One and two to Hardy. Go ahead run at third with one out. And it's up and in. He checks his swing. Count even at 2-2. Now you can make a legitimate case that in this inning we've had 3 errors. Rosales was not given an error on a ball that he bobbled and then couldn't find the handle. There's a big strikeout for Owings. It's a second out of the inning. When he finally did get a grip on it, he threw to second and Hairston dropped the ball. He got an error. And then undoubtedly that ball to Yadish is a straight error.
Well, this is a big time pitch for a big time pitcher right here. When your infield and your outfield are having a difficult time doing what they're supposed to do, you do what you're supposed to do, and that is get the guy out at home plate. Now with 2 down, you got to make a big pitch here and get back to the dugout and let your guys swing the bat for you.
Bill Hall walked his only at bat tonight. And that's just low for ball 1. Infield, of course, backs up with 2 away. Fielder a 2-run double in the inning. Represents the lead run at third. Big swing and a miss by Hall, and it's a ball and a strike. These Brewers are on quite a roll right now. I mean, they're the hottest team outside the Dodgers in the National League. They've gone 12-3 since starting the season at 4-9.
And you can see every batting average just about, besides J.J. Hardy, is really starting to climb. Jason Kendall's is not, but the other guys, they're starting to hit the baseball with some unbelievable regularity, especially Ryan Braun.
National League Central Division standings going into play today. The Reds are 4 back after the Cardinal win in Pittsburgh, or at home over Pittsburgh. So those are up to date. Reds need a win to stay 3.5 back in the Redbirds before they go toe-to-toe right here at Great American Ballpark starting tomorrow night at 7:10. 3-1 to Hall. Took a little something off. Hall was looking for that fastball and was way out in front, coming up empty.
Well, he's been able, Owings that is, has been able to get that ball on the outside, right on the outside corner when he's really had to have it. He needed it right there. He struck out J.J. Hardy with it, but he's got to make a big pitch here.
So now Micah the pause and a 3-2 on Hall. In the air down the left field line and foul. Three runs, 4 hits for the Brewers. 3 runs, 5 hits, and a key error for the Reds. We're in the top of the 4th inning with Prince Fielder at third and 2 out. Mike Owings okays a sign. Struck him out on a high fastball to win the inning.
How about that back-to-back change fastball?
But the Brewers tie it at 3 after 3.5. 3-3 game. Reds come to bat, bottom of the fourth. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Ryan Braun clubbed 30 or more home runs in each of his first 2 years in the big leagues. Only the second player to do that. Who is the first? Aflac. We will see that young man tomorrow night.
Yes, we will.
Albert Pujols. He might hit 30 before the end of June this year. He's got 11 already. Unless he hit one a day.
Did you guess that before you looked at the computer or after? You
long before.
You guessed it before.
Long. I wouldn't do that. Now, this guy is just beyond belief. One of the greatest players he will go down as in the history of baseball. Good Lord willing, he stays healthy before his career is over. I mean, the numbers are just incredible. And as much as Albert Pujols means to the Cardinals on the field, he does every bit as much, if not more, in the St. Louis community off the field. I mean, he is the face not only of just the Cardinals. I mean, he's one of the faces of baseball. 1-2 to Ryan Hannigan as we begin the bottom of the fourth inning. Ryan will be followed by Paul Yanishin and Micah Owings in a 3-3 game.
You know, Tom, when so much is focused in sports this day and age on the illegitimacy of records and the negativity of all things that are going on, Albert Pujols is one man that stands above the rest.
No doubt. On the ground to short.
Not only as a player, but also as a humanitarian, and probably more importantly than anything else, as a supportive father with his children and his wife.
Paul Giannis doubled to center field his first time up, and yes, it was to center field. It was a hard hit line drive that Mike Cameron tried to make a diving play on. He came up just short. It hit off his glove and rolled about 30 feet to Cameron's right, enabling Giannis to go into second base. And Giannis loops one into right, and he's 2 for 2 in the game.
The one thing Giannis has been able to do, Tom, and I think this goes back to a little conversation that he had with Dusty Baker, and however you want to put this thing, the guy's gotten stronger in his arms and his upper body. Whoever made the suggestion, whether it was Dusty or whether it was Giannis himself. Last year you could knock the bat out of his hands with a fastball. This year everyone is still challenging him with the fastball, but he is making contact, and he's making contact on a line, and those balls are falling in instead of being balls that he popped up last year.
I got to believe that Matthew Krause had a lot to do with that.
Big time.
Of course, Matty is a Reds strength and conditioning coordinator. That ball is in the air to deep left center field, and this ball will fall and go all the way to the wall. So the Reds are going to take the lead as Giannis will score. Owings to third, throw there. He is safe. And Ken Maka comes sprinting out of the dugout to argue with the home plate umpire who made the call at third. Micah Owings with an RBI triple. And the Reds have a 4-3 lead, and for Owings, that is his second career 3-base hit.
Watch the left foot here. Watch this foot. Where does it go? Towards the third base line. He steps in the bucket so he can clear his hips early. That allows him to catch the baseball and drive it all the way to the left center field bullpen. He got the foot in there first. It was bang, bang, but he got it in there. I think Micah Owings was, I think Ken Maka was running out onto the field because he was so mad that the pitcher just hit a triple. He didn't want to charge the mound, so he charged the third base umpire.
now the infield is in. Willie Taveras has grounded to short tonight and homered to left field. And that one in the dirt, blocked perfectly by Jason Kendall.
The other team puts runs on the board, a sign of a good ball club. You come back and you take it right back to them.
1-2 on Willie Taveras.
Taveras has got to do whatever he can to get this run in. Fly ball, ground ball, bunt, whatever. Get the run in from third base. Don't put it all on Hairston.
Bill Hall, J.J. Hardy, Ricky Weeks, Prince Fielder are all drawn in. 1-2 on Taveras, and that one gets away, and Owings is going to score. So Micah knocks in a run, scores a run on the wild pitch, and the Reds lead it 5-3.
Well, I guess that menacing look that Taveras gave to Braden Looper was a highly intimidating look, and it made him hold on to that split finger just a tad too long.
Well, Micah going to look for a towel. He's going to look for a tall drink of water.
How about a seat?
And a seat.
Yeah, big time. I'm going to get a little rest here. They can bring me some water.
3-2 on Willie Taveras. And he draws a walk. So now you have a chance to get another rally started. You score twice. You have your best base stealer standing at first with one away in the inning. Willie 6 out of 7 in stolen base attempts this year. And Ken Maka is going to come get Braden Looper. Perhaps he has Seth McClung, the big right-hander.
I think he's just going to talk to him.
Could read his lips. How you doing?
Very rarely do you see Maka run out to the mound. When he does run out, it's more for a pep talk than anything else. And it's not only for the pitcher, Braden Looper, it's for the guys on his club, for the guys that are in the infield. Hey, let's snap out of this. Let's go. Let's get after it. Let's make a play and help him get out of the inning.
Mike Owings trying to get that dirt out of his hair after sliding into the plate a moment ago. Did you ever have that problem, Cowboy, in your hair? A little dirt in there? I can't see it. I just can't see it.
No, the only thing I can think of that would have caused me to get dirt in my hair is maybe I fell down the dugout steps coming into the Chicago dugout.
At Wrigley?
Yeah. They're awfully slippery.
Yeah, they are.
That's the only time I can think that I might have knocked my hat off and got a little dirt.
Did your uniform ever look like that besides the fall in the dugout?
I think there was a rain delay back in 91 or 92. We were out sliding around, goofing off with our pants. Had our pants on and T-shirts.
There's a bunt, and that'll be a bunt hit all the way by Hairston. Beautifully done. That's the second time in the last 3 games he's done it.
Best time to do that type of bunt is a ball that starts out over the plate and runs right back to you. Hairston takes advantage of it, puts it right down the line, and oh my, look who's on deck.
And Braden Looper is not going to face Jay Bruce. Ken Maka has come out and is already checking in with Greg Gibson. This will be a double switch. So we'll tell you about the new position player, and we'll tell you about the new pitcher, as we have our Skyline Chili called to the bullpen. West Virginian Seth McClung is on his way into the game. We'll be right back. How special she is, everybody, by bringing her to Great American Ballpark this Sunday. It's Mother's Day and Mom's Appreciation Day. The first 10,000 moms in attendance receive a beautiful tote bag thanks to Con. Get your Mom's Day tickets right now at 381-REDS or log on to Reds.com. Reds lead 5-3. That's all for Braden Looper. Craig Counsell is part of a double switch who had 4 hits in the game last night. Replaces Bill Hull at third. He'll bat ninth. And now taking over on the mound. Went to Greenbrier East High School in Greenbrier, West Virginia, is Seth McClung. Jay Bruce, a batter, 2 runs in, 2 runners on with only 1 out. Bruce is homered, walked, scored twice.
Biggest key for the Reds against Seth McClung is patience. If you're patient, he will give you a hit. He will give you a pitch to hammer, or he will walk you. That has always been the book on Seth McClung. Big man, throws hard.
Jay taking all the way, and it's low and in, 2-0. Bruce looking for something to batter here. With 2 on, 1 out, and a 2-0 count. McClung quick pitched in there. And that's why Bruce was so late on that swing on a fastball that I'm not sure he catches up with anyway.
Well, Jay takes that hand off the bat, and a lot of times pitchers will get set and they'll try to rocket that thing in there in a hurry.
2-1 on Jay Bruce, and it's popped up. Foul territory. Counsell with room for the second out of the inning.
You do something like that, Tom, where you quick pitch a batter, it takes the batter totally out of his concentration mode. And for Jay to be able to get back into it where he felt like he was comfortable, he needed to have a couple more seconds there. And the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson, asked him to get right back into the box.
Ramon Hernandez has had a perfect night. 2 for 2, a pair of singles. Hit a ball deep in the hole at short in the first inning, and then shot one into right center field for a base hit in the third. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Reds, and that's minus Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. Both coming down with a case of the flu before the game. Both were in the original starting lineup and then were scratched. Votto very early, and then Phillips just shortly before game time. Hopefully they are feeling better and ready to roll tomorrow night.
And I think this is why it really helps guys sometimes when you shake the order up a little bit. You don't do it all the time, or at least I don't believe you do it all the time. I think that you do it some of the time where you shake the order up where guys hit in the order, and it gives them a little bit different idea and a different approach to the pitcher at hand.
Two and one on Ramon Hernandez. That batting average for Hernandez has just taken flight after such a sluggish start. He's hit safely now in 5 in a row and has hits in 15 of his last 19 games at a .330 clip. Will this one stay fair? No. But he has 22 base hits, does Hernandez, in his last 66 at bats. I mean, that's putting together a real nice run over the last nearly 3 weeks.
The thing about it that was a thing of beauty, Tom, is when they sent the runner and the hit and run was just marvelous. You see the runner heading towards second base, and he hits the ball right over not only the runner's head, but over the head of Ricky Weeks. Not a thing he could do about it as the ball headed towards right center field.
Well, the runners will get started now. 3-2 on Ramon Hernandez. The runners at first and second base, and 2 out in the inning. In the air, right center field, playable for Cameron, and the inning is over. But the Reds, after giving up the lead, recapture the lead with a pair in the 4th, and they're in front 5-3. A special Great American Ballpark backdrop. For tickets to Saturday's game or any game, call 381-REDS or go to reds.com. We have that Joey Votto bobblehead with us in the booth tonight. Two and 0 to Jason Kendall. Two and 0 the count. Kendall to be followed by Craig Counsell. And then the leadoff man, Ricky Weeks.
Look out.
3-1. You have one of these Joey Votto bobbleheads.
I do. Joey, do you feel bad, Joey? Yes, I do. Yes, I don't feel too good, and neither does Brandon.
Do you want to put a beating on the Cardinals?
Yes, I do. I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Those are nice.
Solid bobblehead. Solid. It's a little chilly. Look at all those people out there. I hope there's a lot of people here against the Cardinals. Oh man, that's a lot of people up there. Oh, you're not supposed to show me doing that. Just playing around.
Broken bat. Gonzalez got it, throws, and he got it.
Oh, what a recovery.
And what a stretch by Ramon Hernandez at first base. Well, Rosales, he's fighting it down there at third base tonight, but he hung in there, and he gets the out to start the inning.
Well, it's a good thing that this ball was not hit very hard, because when it popped up out of his glove, he turned and threw a rocket over there to first base. You got to admire the kid for staying with it. Most infielders would have just let that thing go on out of the way. Nice job, Rosie.
Breaking ball in there, strike one to Craig Counsell, who bats for the first time tonight. Cody Counsell last night had 4 base hits, 2 singles, 2 doubles, scored 3 times and knocked in a run.
He's really been able, Tom, to pull the ball much better with the stance that he's in now versus what he was trying to do with his hands way up high and trying to look over that front shoulder.
Into center field, right at Willie Taveras, 2 away. Well, the Reds went into the game last night with the #1 pitching team ERA in Major League Baseball. #1. But then after serving up 15 runs, 11 of which were earned runs, they weren't #1, 2, 3, or 4 in the National League. They slipped to #5.
Go rut row. They'll be back. One game don't spoil the whole batch, Georgia girl.
That was a good song, Georgie Girl. Remember that song?
I loved it. One bad apple.
Hey there, Georgie Girl. Oh, the one you were thinking of was the Osmond brothers. You were always a big fan of the Osmonds. One bad apple. Remember that song?
I do.
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to.
You were combining the two.
Was I? Oh, wow.
That's nice.
How do I do it?
Georgie Girl was by the Seekers.
Oh, well. You can do that down there where I live in.
One and one to count on Weeks.
Sometimes that record breaks and we got to super glue it. Super glue it to another side, and you don't ever know what's going to come out of it. That sounds pretty good, Billy Ray.
One and two to count on Weeks.
Well, one thing that the Reds cannot afford to do here for the rest of the ball game is have any more sloppy defense. It's time to lock it up a little bit and start putting fast forward on this ball game from an offensive perspective and from a defensive perspective.
2 and 2 on Weeks. Got him swinging, and that'll end the inning. So Owings bounces back with a rock solid 1-2-3 fifth. Reds come to bat in the bottom of the inning, leading 5-3. photo store at Reds.com. It's easy. You just upload your photo, then choose from prints, mugs, magnets, so much more. Place your order, and you're done. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own Reds memory. Go to Reds.com today. Singles night at the old ballpark. Lance Nix to lead things off here in the Reds' 5th inning. The Reds in front of the Brewers 5-3. Nix knocked in one of the 5 runs with a sac fly back in the 3rd inning. Seth McClung is on in relief of Braden Looper. McClung came on to get the final 2 outs in the 4th inning. So Looper allows 5 runs all earned in 3 and a 3rd innings on 8 hits. And that's been a guy through the years that has owned the Reds.
And I think it just goes back to the Reds being aggressive early in the ball game, getting after Looper early in the ball game and making him get out of his rhythm a little bit.
And there's Nix shooting one into left field. This will be another double for Lance Nix. A guy with 36 at bats on the season has his 7th double of the season. Wow.
How can he be kept out of the lineup? I will never, ever know. He's hit lefties, he's hit righties, and he's not just dinking the ball over the infield, he's hitting the ball to the wall. You look up, and every time he's either involved in a go-ahead rally, a come-from-behind rally, or a put-him-in-the-books rally.
Adam Rosales, a batter, has hit it a tough luck tonight. He's hit a line drive to second, a line drive to third. This time he's asked to bunt and pulls the bat away. Ball 1.
I think in this situation for Rosales, he just wants to get the ball to the right side any way that he can.
And he does on a bunt to advance a runner. Well done by Adam Rosales, getting Lance Nix to third, 1 out in the inning. When the Reds get it done, as Lance Nix did, among others tonight, with an RBI, that means another $25 from Shakely goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely. It's done. And well done by Adam Rosales. So now chance for Ryan Hannigan.
It's good that they support the Reds Community Fund, Tom. You and I think, are both in agreement that they do a phenomenal job for this organization and throughout the community.
And throughout Reds country. I mean, not just here in Cincinnati, but
it's amazing.
All over the state of Ohio, in Indiana, in Kentucky, in West Virginia. Reds Community Fund has given away millions of dollars since the Castellini group, the Williams group, the new ownership group took over.
Well, they made it a priority instead of just something that just existed in the background. It's a whole different scenario when ownership makes it a priority. And the Castellinis and the Williams did that.
And they've got the right man running it in Charlie Frank. One of the all-time great guys. 0-1. And Hannigan will get a run in. This one looped into left center field, and it's caught by Cameron. Tagging and coming in to score is Nix. So Ryan Hannigan gets his first RBI of the year, and the Reds get a double, a bunt, a sac fly, and lead by 3.
Can't manufacture it a whole lot better than that.
No.
Get him over, get him in. Bingo.
Now Paul Janisch. 2 for 2, a double, a single, a scored a run.
How many normal at bats would you have to get for the cycle in a game, you think? You think you have to have 5 to get it, or you think 4 could do it?
You do. I think so. 5. Although I think I saw a guy one time in Colorado. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Back when I was doing the Diamondbacks games, I think Mike Lansing hit for the cycle before the first 6 innings were over in the game. I think I'm right on that.
And he had all the tools to do it. Good flat bat. He could make some contact, and he had some sock in his bat.
Saw Luis Gonzalez hit for the cycle one night down in Houston. And then saw Greg Colburn. Remember him? A great pinch hitter throughout his major league career. Greg Colburn could hit.
Yes.
Really hit.
And he learned how to do it from the pinch hit category.
Yep. That one shot into right field and caught by Hart, but the Reds tack on another run. We'll move to the 6th. Reds 6, Brewers 3.
Out here in the left field bleachers making all kinds of friends. Not really. But we're twittering, Tom Brenneman, and I know you love that.
Jim, I mean, you know, it screams the question here.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a single man.
Yes.
And on singles night,
yeah,
you're concerned about twittering out there by yourself in the moon deck in the upper reaches of left center field. Now, what does that tell you? I mean, seriously.
Your followers are dropping.
I don't know. I think they're impressed because I'm paying attention more to them than, you know, my single life. It's all about the job. It's all about the gig.
Fly ball center field off the bat of Corey Hart. He's retired to open the Brewers' 6th inning. Are you even in shouting distance of a single? Female?
I was going to say, no, the female type. I don't know. Are any of you single down there? Hello. Anyone single? No, apparently not.
Yeah. I think that guy is right there, but he thinks maybe you've lost your mind.
Well, we all know that.
Well, wait a minute now. That girl's just turned around.
Well, she's with someone.
Well, no, not really, because she's sitting like 2 seats away from the guy.
I think she's on the phone.
If he is with her, then he should leave.
She's on the phone, I think, telling their people at home, hey, the goofy guy from TV's right above me.
I mean, she's pretty.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when she's sitting that far away from him.
I'm also middle-aged. We'll just leave it at that.
Now she's on the horn with the Cincinnati police about a restraining order.
Oh, no.
Some guy sitting by himself near the top of the ballpark.
Yeah, who wore a coat and a suit to a ball game. I don't stand out at all out here, do I?
But you look good, big boy. You look real nice.
Well, we got to keep care of those Twitter peeps out there.
There you go.
Oh, boy. 1-2 on Ryan Braun. We'll give Jimbo a little time to maybe join up with the ballpark crawl that is going on right now as part of singles night. I understand it's going to finish up in Mount Adams later. There's a swing and a foul ball back out of play. She's probably not old enough to get into Mount Adams. You know, some of those famous spots up there like the Blind Lemon or the Mount Adams Bar and Grill, among others.
Well, you can get a hamburger there.
Oh, you can get a great cheeseburger up. Great everything. Great food. Have to go visit our old buddy Walter Brown up there at the Blind Lemon. I'm sure he's working tonight.
Volta.
Good man. 1-2 to count on Ryan Braun. Out of play.
Yeah, we are on camera right now. Thanks for saving me. Yeah, we're on camera. See,
you are on the air right now.
See, that's how I get. See that effect I have on people?
Well, we knew that already.
That's why it's empty up here. But thanks for joining.
Microphone for no reason?
Well, that's what they pay me to do, yeah. All right, guys.
Well, you're on a roll, Jim.
Yeah, I am rolling out here.
There's a base hit into center field. Do you have anything else to add, or you just want us to turn off your mic?
Actually, I can turn it off myself. I will help all of the viewing public out there. And
well, what is her name? I mean, if she took the time to come over.
Yeah, what is your name?
Megan.
Where are you from, Megan?
I'm originally from Sandusky, but been in Cincinnati for 5 years.
Big Reds fan?
Yes.
Here for singles night?
No.
See, there you go. They're here for baseball. It's all about baseball.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yes.
Thanks for coming up and saying hello to Jim Day.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not so lonely anymore. Thank you.
You says, now can I beat it?
What did she say? Do I still get my $20?
It was 30.
Oh, sorry.
Who's counting?
Sorry, big guy.
Way near a strike to Prince Fielder.
Daddy, look what I got.
So a 1-out single by Ryan Braun. Micah Owings has thrown 88 pitches in the game. And we're in the top of the 6th inning. The Reds in front 6-3. Fielder had a 2-run double down the right field line when Milwaukee scored 3 to tie the game at the time. 0-2 now to Fielder. And then after Mike Cameron tied the game with a ground out, moving Fielder on to third, Mike Owings got down to business. I mean, that was a go-ahead run. Fielder at third. He struck out Hardy and Bill Hall to get out of the inning.
And I think he's thrown the ball very well from the time he's taken the mound all the way up to right now. He's throwing the ball very well. He's hitting the spots that Hannigan wants him to go to. He's kept the ball down when he's needed to be down. And he's changed the eye level by going up above the hands of some of these right and left-handed hitters. And I think that's a credit to Hannigan back there behind home plate. Boys have had a few double plays tonight. It'd be nice to ratchet up another one right here, especially with Prince Fielder at the plate.
Ryan Braun, 2 out of 4 in stolen base attempts this year. 1-2 to count on Fielding. And it's fouled back out of play. We'll do it again. Nice catch made by a fan just below our booth.
I think we're seeing that more and more, Tom, in this ballpark. I think maybe the Cincinnati fans are a little bit more athletic than in other ballparks, because they seem to be able to one hand catch it, bare hands. Some of them bring their gloves, are able to pull that rabbit in there.
1-2 to Fielder, and that is a fair ball down the right field line. Bruce over to get it in the corner. Braun on his way to third. They're going to hold him, and they throw into second. And back to first goes Fielder.
That's a great play by Jay Bruce right there. I thought it was going to be automatic that Fielder was going into second base. They held up the runner Braun at third. And Jay Bruce and that arm of his is the one that was responsible for holding up Fielder at first base. You can see Fielder as he rounds the bag. Look how far Fielder gets down. Then he says, oh, no. He goes diving back into first base because of the cutoff by Bruce. Bruce goes out of the picture, and then here comes the baseball. One hop, perfect throw into second base.
Of course, Jay Bruce in the game last night cut down Ricky Weeks trying to score on a base hit in the first inning. Weeks was trying to score from second on a single by Craig Counsell, and Bruce threw him out by 10 feet. Well, now runners on the corners, and a tying run comes to the plate, and activity for the first time tonight begins in the Reds bullpen. Owings has thrown 92 pitches in the game. There's a slow roller that'll bring in a run, but the Reds will trade it out. Fielder in the scoring position, scoring his Braun to make it a 6-4 game. Cameron his second RBI, both on ground outs to Hairston. And getting loose in the Reds bullpen, it appears to be Jared Burton out there.
Statistically, Tom, we're going to look back at this ball game tomorrow, and we're going to see the runs that Micah Owings gave up, and you're going to think, boy, the Reds did squeak by on that one. It's totally the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, he could have very well not given up a run at all so far in this ball game.
Yeah, some shaky defense in that fourth inning when the Brewers scored 3 times. There's strike one to J.J. Hardy, but this one is a long way from being over.
Yeah.
Made a long way. 6-4. We're only in the 6th inning.
That's why I was saying earlier, this is the time where you really have to bear down as the club that's leading the ball game.
In the left field, they're going to get closer. This one up against the wall. Scoring is Fielder. Hardy a double. And all of a sudden, it is a 1-run game again.
Ball was supposed to be outside. Ball is up, mid-thigh over the heart of the plate. We talked about that before the ball game. For Owings to be successful, the ball has to be down around the kneecaps. If it's not at the kneecaps, then it has to be up above the hands. Strikes at the kneecaps, chase pitches up above the hands. Those last few pitches have been above the knee, right around that mid-thigh area, and you see what happens to those types of pitches. They find the gaps, and they find the corners.
Well, Owings just hanging on. He'll face Chris Duffy, who bats for Seth McClung. McClung in an inning and 2/3 allows a hit and a run. Owings' spot is due to lead off the bottom of the inning. Found out a play, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I think that's part of the reason, Tom. Well, you know it is. That's one of the reasons that he's being given an extra leash here, is because of his ability to swing the bat and the fact that the Reds are absolutely handcuffed when it comes to position players.
They already have Alex Gonzalez, who, for all intents and purposes, is still unavailable. The Reds are going to wait at least another day before either finding out if he's ready to play or whether they have to put him on the disabled list with that oblique strain.
I mean, you got both catchers of yours in the ball game. Hannigan behind the plate, Hernandez at first.
Well, you may not have to wait that long because Owings appears to be finished here. I mean, he's nowhere near the strike zone. His next pitch will be his 99th pitch, and he's fallen behind Duffy 3-1. And unfortunately for the Reds, he's a hit away from giving up another 3-run lead. This ball in the air to deep center field. Taveras should get to it, and he will. So Owings survives the inning. Ball game is on tonight, folks. It's 6-5 after 5½. Leaving his feet, although nowhere near the ball, is Ryan Braun. It turns into a triple and an RBI. Our Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Mark DeFelice pitching in his 13th game, and he has had an outstanding year so far.
3 wins and no losses. A lot of those ball games have come in games like this where he's come in tie ball games, or maybe his team's down. Hitters only hitting .213 against him. But his greatest asset, Tom, is not walking batters. And when you come out of the bullpen, it's not all about striking everybody out, but it is about not giving up free passes. He's only walked 3.
Micah Owings is batting here to lead off the 6th inning, but one has to believe that he will not stay in the game to pitch. First triple by a Reds pitcher since Eric Milton at Wrigley back in April of '06. That one rolled foul.
And DeFelice does not throw the ball very hard. He actually cuts the ball as it comes to home plate. Every pitch that comes out of his hand cuts away from a right-hander or sinks away from a left-hander. It's almost as though he doesn't have a fastball. He just goes to the second pitch for normal players, or normal pitchers, I should say.
0-2 to count on Micah Owings. And he pops it up. Left side of the infield, Counsell, the third baseman, a call and a catch one away. As you know, the Reds are on their way to play Arizona and San Diego. The first of 3 at Chase Field in Phoenix on Monday night. And reports coming out of the Arizona Republic just moments ago. Bob Melvin will be fired as manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's unclear, according to the story, if the Diamondbacks have fired Bob Melvin or if they are waiting until the team gets back from San Diego, where they lost earlier today 4-3 in 10 innings. But according to the Arizona Republic, Bob Melvin will lose his job as manager of the Diamondbacks before the end of the day today. The Diamondbacks 12-17 on the year. A team that is a little more than 1 year removed from playing in the National League Championship Series as one of the youngest teams in all of baseball. Bob Melvin's a good man and has done an outstanding job as manager there in Arizona. A winning percentage well over 500 in Arizona.
And Tom, I played with Bob.
Yep.
When we were in San Francisco together. He was our catcher along with Bob Brindley at the time. And that's who I broke in with. And I have the same sentiments for him. I like the guy. I've always thought that he was a great baseball man. But sometimes when your club is not losing, you know where the pressure goes and where the blame goes, and it's right to the manager.
So if that is indeed confirmed, we will pass that story along. But again, that is what the Arizona Republic is reporting tonight. Of course, Dusty Baker is good buddies with Bob Melvin as well from those San Francisco Giant days.
Yeah, we were all out there together.
Yep.
Chris Byer.
You know, you start thinking about guys that perhaps could be the manager by the time we get there. Jerry Hairston Jr. is behind 0-1 now, ball and a strike, and you know you could probably reel off a laundry list of names. But guys that Bob Melvin has on his staff would include Chip Hale, who has been a minor league manager with the Diamondbacks and has been on their coaching staff the last couple of years. He interviewed for the job the last go-around when Melvin ultimately got the job after Wally Backman was originally hired. And then they found out some things about Backman which weren't all that flattering, so Melvin wound up with the job. And another name that has to be on that short list, the bench coach under Bob Melvin, the fiery Kirk Gibson.
And I think that any club needs a manager that has some gumption to him and is not afraid to force the issue when it comes to his ball club. I personally like managers that have a little fire to them and say, all right, we're going to do it this way or we're not going to do it at all.
Rounded down to third. So DeFelice, after the Brewers draw within a run, sets down the Reds in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-2-3. We go to the 7th in a 1-run affair. His team-high 8th home run got the Reds out in front 1-0. Willie Taveras, his first home run since June the 13th of last season, made it 2-0. Reds tacked on a run in that 3rd inning on a fly ball from Lance Nix. But then in the 4th inning, Milwaukee tied it. A 2-run double by Fielder and a ground out tied the score at 3 apiece. Micah Owings broke the tie with a runner aboard with a triple in the left center field. Owings would score. And then Mike Cameron with a ground out to get one of the runs back before J.J. Hardy made it our current 6-5 score with an RBI double in the 6th inning. So here we go in the 7th, and it'll be the Reds bullpen to take over. Right-hander Nick Massett off to a terrific start.
He has really come on and pitched well after losing the job in spring training for the starting job, and Micah Owings is the one that ultimately ended up winning that job. He has been phenomenal out of the bullpen. Finished up a couple of games in Florida on the last road trip. He's got his ERA down to 1.64, his 9th appearance on the year. He's only given up 4 hits. And opponents only hitting 111 against the young man.
Of course, Nick Massett is getting the chance, as you mentioned, Jeff, to pitch in games like this now, really for the first time in his major league career. He was a guy that
in games
might
like
have been the
this,
10th pitcher on the White Sox staff, maybe the 11th pitcher.
That matter.
Tight games where you're trying to preserve a 1-run lead in the 7th inning. Some guys like that job. Some guys don't like it.
I think everybody gives lip service as if to say, well, I love that job.
There's a check swing. Wow. They said he didn't go around.
Oh, my goodness. If he'd have hit that, it would have been a homer. I think this is what you pitch your whole career for, is to get into a spot in a big league game where it matters.
Well, he came back on the next pitch and strikes out Kendall. And that's the way we begin the 7th inning with Craig Counsell coming up.
You can see the fingers spread ever so slightly for the two-seam fastball. And as he comes homeward, watch the ball run down and back to the outside corner. And he ain't playing catch out there. That one was 93 miles an hour.
Now Craig Counsell, he lined out his only at bat to center field. And there's strike one at 95 miles per hour.
And Massett will show you two fastballs. One as the first pitch to Counsell, which is straight and down low. He'll show you another that is just elevated slightly and has got some major sink like that there. Reds fans, for great tasting food and family fun, pick up JTN Philly Kits. Burgers or delicious barbecue from your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, and fun.
1-1 to Craig Counsell. And it's down low, 2 balls and a strike.
Key here for Massett is to handle the adrenaline animal. Your body says, I want to throw the ball through the brick wall, or at least your head does. And you've got to make yourself slow down a little bit. Take a deep breath. Stay within your mechanics. And try to slow the game down some. Because right now the game is on fast forward.
Three balls and a strike. Of course, Counsell came on as part of a double switch, so he's batting in the number 9 spot. Ricky Weeks, a leadoff hitter next, and then you're running into a lot of trouble. So walking guys is not what you want to do, and that's what he does with 1 out to Counsell. So the tying run aboard, the go-ahead run comes to the plate with 1 out in the 7th. Weeks in the game is 1 of 3. His fly to center. Had a little blue pit into center field back in the 4th inning and scored, and then struck out in the 5th. Mike Owings, 6 innings, allows 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned runs. Walked 1 batter and struck out 4. Reds in front 6-5 as they'll keep an eye on Counsell. Not a great base stealer, a very good base runner. Strike 1 to Weeks.
And those are the types of adjustments that Massett has got to make from pitch to pitch, not batter to batter. You could notice that in that pitch there, the first pitch to Ricky Weeks, he started his sinker about 2 or 3 inches higher than he did on all of the pitches to Craig Counsell.
1-1 on Weeks. Activity in the Reds bullpen. The left-hander Arthur Rhodes begins to crank it up. The Brewers do not have a left-handed batter coming up until Prince Fielder, but Rhodes has been getting everybody out, righties and lefties. One and one on Ricky Weeks with a tying run at first and 1 out here in the 7th inning. Way outside.
And the reason that ball is going straight down into the ground is because Massett is jumping towards home plate. When you jump towards home plate, your arm snaps back and then it snaps forward and it drives the ball down into the dirt. You've got to have a smooth follow through towards home plate. Otherwise, you're going to get that kind of action on your sinker.
2-1 delivery. Grounded foul. Weeks was ready for a fastball at 94. Jumps all over it.
Much smoother here. Watch the knee come up, rock back towards second base, hand up in the power position, and then the follow through. That's where you get the sinker. Now you want to stay with that same motion and locate the baseball so you can get the out.
Two balls, two strikes on Weeks. Counsell being held on by Hernandez at first. And there's ball 3 high. Now Weeks is a swing and a miss guy, meaning he'll strike out a lot. He's already struck out once in the game tonight. He struck out in one of his at bats last night. Would Ken Maka start a runner on this 3-2 pitch with 1 out? We're about to find out. Runner not going. And it's a swing and a miss, but the runner is out, or the batter is out, and they'll send Counsell and allow him to stay at second base on that wild pitch.
Well, this is a place where you cannot, on strike 3, run to a base that is already occupied unless that base runner was already moving. He was not. He only moved after the wild pitch, and so Ricky Weeks is out on the swing as of strike 3, but they do give second base to Craig Counsell. But now with 2 down, you got to make some pitches to this guy.
Corey Hart with the tying run at second base. And this is not a time to be nibbling around. You have got one of the hottest hitters on the planet standing in the on-deck circle in Ryan Braun. Braun already with 2 hits tonight. The only time they got him out was a laser right at Paul Yanish. And it's 2-0 on Corey Hart.
And you can see Massett, and you can see Dusty Baker just doing what I was just fixing to say, is that before his foot ever lands, and just as his foot lands, he's falling. Watch him go this way right here. He's falling towards the first base. You can already see it out of the shoulder break up at the top of the balance position. You can already see him leaning back before he goes.
And there's a looper in the short left field. Nick's got a great jump on it, and the inning is over.
Hallelujah.
So the tying run stranded at second. They stand and stretch in Cincinnati. The Reds lead by a run. Up to Home Depot, doing more on defense. Couple of big double plays early in the game for Micah Owings.
And I think that's the big key for Owings early in the game. for the Reds turning those double plays. And then when he had to really get that double play back in the fourth inning, he needed the double play, and on 2 consecutive ground balls he did not get it, and it led to 3 runs.
Taking over on the mound for Milwaukee. 4th pitcher they've used tonight is left-hander Mitch Stetter.
And this kid has some kind of funky motion. A left-handed, almost sidearm pitcher. Tough to pick up whether you're right-handed or left-handed. But the one thing that you don't have to worry about is swinging at it if he doesn't throw strikes, because he has a difficult time with that too.
3-1 to Jay Bruce. Bruce to be followed by Ramon Hernandez and Lance Nix.
Now here's the key here, Tom. Just because Stetter just threw 1 strike, that doesn't mean that you have to swing here.
Jay got himself out there. That pitch was a great pitcher's pitch, way in on his hands, and he's just not going to hit that ball hard anyway. 1 away in the inning.
Guy throws 3 consecutive balls, finally gets a pitch that's somewhere near a strike. Watch where this pitch is. That's a ball that's in underneath your hands. There's nothing you can do with it. That's the part that the Reds, as a young club, will continue to get better at. It's just part of youth. It's part of being young. You have to be selective in order to be great.
Ramon Hernandez looks at a strike. He turns around and says something to Greg Gibson. Hernandez 2 of 3, a pair of singles, and is flied out to center field. Now, and that one got him. So the 3rd time tonight that Hernandez has reached base. There'll be a 1-out base runner for Lance Nix. We remind you to start your weekend at Great American Ballpark with fireworks Friday. That's including tomorrow night. Have a blast with a spectacular post-game fireworks display presented by KOI Auto Parts. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. We're looking for huge crowds over the weekend.
Got that
a big series for the Reds, going toe-to-toe with the Central Division leading Cardinals. And the Reds will be running their 3 best right at them. Johnny Cueto on Friday night, Aaron Harang on Saturday night, and the red-hot Edinson Volquez will start the series finale on Sunday.
You were talking about fireworks. Well, I had a blast eating that Penn Station sub before the game. Because if we hadn't had that, I'd have been flat starving.
That was very nice.
Come flying in here, just disheveled, and there that thing was waiting for me with that big old bucket of mayonnaise. I crushed it.
1-0 to Lance Nix. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and we thank the folks at Penn Station, and we thank our main man in the booth, Jesse Jackson.
Jesse, I ain't seen no Jesse. Yes, we do.
Lance Nix tonight 1 for 2, hit that ball off the end of the bat, and clearly the left-hander has Nix fooled on the last couple of pitches. Lance has struck out, knocked in a run with a sac fly in the 3rd inning, then doubled down the left field line and scored in the 5th. Breaking ball off the outside corner.
You just do not want to give up the lead, Tom. You don't want to let the Brewers tie it. You don't want to let them get closer than what they are right now. Some way, fashion, or form, you need to find a way to put an insurance run on the board.
Well, we talked about Nick seemingly almost every at bat. He's at 2-2, if not 3-2. I mean, clearly this is an at bat where he has not had good swings against this left-hander Stetter yet.
He keeps fighting them off.
He's fighting them off, and he's run the count full. 3-2. Off the end of the bat, just missed it. Into right field, Hart will get to it, and that's his second out of the inning.
And the thing, that's the part that I go back to. If he was playing every day, does he miss that ball on the end of the bat, or does he hit it over the moon deck? Because he's strong enough to do that. He's the one guy in this lineup that's sitting on the bench that's not getting much playing time, that this ball club needs some power, and yet he can provide it, but yet he's not being allowed to. Don't get it.
2 away in the inning, and here's Adam Rosales, who is lined out twice. Once to second, once to third, and then his sacrifice after the Knicks double in the 5th inning to start things led to a run, and right now that's the difference in the game. That last Reds run in the 5th inning. Well, the Brewers in the 8th inning, they have their big hitters coming up. It'll be Braun, Fielder, and Cameron, with Massett still in this game and Arthur Rhodes not far behind. He was getting loose, you may remember, in the 7th. Fly ball right center field. Cameron will wave off Corey Hart, and that's that. So those big hitters are coming up. We move to the 8th. The Reds lead 6-5. CincinnatiHondaDealer.com for current offers. That's a cute bit. They have the Jeff Weiler kiss cam in between innings here at Great American Ballpark, and they took a shot at Todd Coffey out there in the Brewers bullpen, sitting alongside one of his mates out there, and have a little fun. He leaned over and acted as though he was giving him a little peck on the cheek. Crowd got a big kick out of him.
They grabbed him.
That was funny stuff. Todd Coffey's one heck of a guy.
He really is, Tom. He really is. Good man, good daddy. They don't come much better than him.
No, they don't. Well, here we go in a very important inning for the Reds. The Brewers bat down a run. Nick Massett on the mound. He had a couple of strikeouts, walked a batter in a scoreless 7th inning, and here's Ryan Braun. First pitch fastball, swing and a miss. Great movement down in the zone.
Because of the height of Massett, when he throws his fastball, if he starts it up just enough, that ball will really have some sink and downward movement to it.
0-1 the count on Braun. Foul tipped. And here is where you're seeing a direct effect of a couple of things. One, the 14-inning game 3 nights ago. And then a game last night where you got 1+ inning out of your starter. I mean, David Weathers would be the guy in a 1-run lead on the mound in the 8th inning. But Weathers had to pitch. In last night's game, And they want him ready to roll through the rest of the weekend, even though they get him up now alongside his running mate down there, Arthur Rhodes. Struck him out swinging, and that is outstanding work by Massett.
That's just really great pitching right there. When you watch Massett, especially against a guy like Braun, who's highly aggressive, watch this ball sinking straight down. Same thing, ball down in the strike zone. Now watch what he does here. Boom, outside. You get a guy that's in swing mode. He's ready to swing. He wants to swing. He knows that with one swing of the bat, Ryan Braun, in his own swing, can hit the ball out of the ballpark and tie this baby up. So what do you do as a pitcher? You expand the zone and you take advantage of it, and that's what Massett did.
What a great job by Massett. We'll see Rhodes to face Fielder, and then Weathers probably to face Cameron. We're back in a moment. Carissa Thompson and Chris Rhodes. The best sports show period. Weeknights presented by 1-800-SAFE Auto. All right, now on the pitch is left-hander Arthur Rhodes. At 39 years old, alongside the other 39-year-old member of the bullpen, David Weathers. Neither one of these guys has allowed a run yet this season. He's on to face Prince Fielder. Fielder has hit one home run this year against left-handed pitching. And Fielder hangs in there pretty good against him. A .258 batter with a home run, 8 knocked in, and 2 doubles. One and 0 to Fielder. And a fastball is high from Arthur. 2 balls and no strikes. Rhodes grew up in Waco, Texas. Has made his home for many, many years now in the Baltimore area, where he came up originally to the big leagues with the Orioles. Back in those days, he was a starter. And he misses on 3 straight to Fielder. And don't be surprised if they green light Fielder 3-0. We've seen it many, many, many times before.
You can be assured that both Weathers and Rhodes were talking about what was going to happen in the ball game once they got in there. They're both warming up together. Rhodes is telling Weathers, look, if I have to pitch around Fielder, if he gets ahead of me or if he's taking big hacks, you got to get Cameron out. And Weathers is saying, don't worry about it, big boy.
And there's a walk. So the only batter that Rhodes is going to face, he walks. And here comes Dusty. Pacing around in the dugout. They will wait until Cameron is announced, and then one would assume make the change. Although, you know, you never know. Rhodes has been great against right-handers and left-handers so far this year.
Well, here's the pitches. Fastball inside, trying to get him off the breaking ball. He wanted that pitch to be the strike. Trying to get back on his hands. This time he gets the strike over the heart of the plate. He takes it. This is the pitch that Arthur Rhodes wanted. He did not get the call. Now he's got to get this man Cameron.
The first pitch fastball is in there, strike. Now, right-handed batters against Arthur Rhodes this season are batting .250. He has faced 24 of them and allowed 6 base hits. So Dusty, to some extent, rolling the dice here. Right-handed batters against Weathers are hitting .222. He just threw that fastball right by Cameron to get ahead 0-2.
And I think that's why Dusty has Arthur Rhodes facing Cameron. Rhodes throws the ball harder than Weathers. If it was Hardy at the plate right now, Weathers would be in the game because of the breaking ball.
And Cameron against right-handers is batting .338. Against left-handers is hitting .208. 0-2 to Cameron.
Oh!
How in the world is that not called a strike? Goodness gracious.
Watch where this ball ends up. Doesn't even move the mitt of Hannigan. If it was off the plate, it was only an inch or two.
1-2 to Cameron, and now Rhodes back to work. Struck him out anyway on a high fastball. So Dusty certainly well aware of those numbers for Rhodes against the righties, for Cameron against the lefty. And it looks like he's thinking about leaving him in there to face Hardy. And let's check the numbers. Hardy against left-handed pitching is batting .091. Hardy has 2 hits and 22 at-bats against left-handers. Hardy is hitting .246 against the right-hander.
Well, if you're hitting that bad against a left-hander, then there's no reason to make the move.
Strike one.
Especially with the fact that Rhodes is now loose. He's painting the outside corner. He's putting the ball where he wants it to be. Those numbers would back it up big time.
0-1 to Hardy. And a strike two. And you got to admire the fact that Dusty, I mean, he would have the stats to back it up, but the easiest thing in the world to do is always play the lefty-lefty, righty-righty, and then you see YA.
Well, you also know that you have confidence in Arthur Rhodes, just like you do in David Weathers. This other side will flip-flop sooner or later.
It should be noted that Hardy has not seen much of Arthur Rhodes. As you see these numbers, you can't go wrong either way. The 2 primary setup men for the Reds this year are relief indeed. Not a single run allowed. Those are the numbers we talked about. Now, they're not going to last long for Hardy. He's too good of a hitter, and he's gotten off to a bad start this season.
And we saw him hit the ball down the right field line earlier for a homer in last night's ball game.
0-2 on Hardy. And a pitch. Came with a fastball that was left out over the plate, but up in the strike zone, and Hardy fouls it off. Should be noted that Hardy has seen a lot more of David Weathers naturally than he has seen of Rhodes, who has pitched almost exclusively in his career, almost, in the American League. Hardy is 5 for 15 against David Weathers. He is 0 for 1 against Arthur Rhodes. Again, the 0-2 pitch. Gone swinging is Hardy, so Dusty Baker knew exactly what he wanted there. He left Rhodes in to face the righties Cameron and Hardy, and both go down swinging. Game. Talk about staying with it. It's already been a tough night for Adam Rosales, but on this one, stayed with it and threw out the runner at first base. Our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. Those guys are almost the same age. That's a joke. I was kidding around with Arthur Rhodes on the bus the other day about the start that he's been off to this year. And, you know, he doesn't want to talk about it. You know how you pitchers are, Jeff. I mean, when you're off to the kind of start that he is, you say, you know, so far so good. Don't want to go any further than that.
Don't wake the sleeping bear.
Jorge Julio comes on for a second straight night.
This game can be real fun and it can be real humbling at the same time, and it can jump on you in a hurry.
Ryan Hannigan to lead things off against Julio. Former closer in Baltimore and for a short while in Arizona. Julio 2 innings, allowed 1 hit and 1 run. That was a home run to Jay Bruce last night. And a bouncing ball back up the middle. Weeks has got it. And his throw, a one-hopper in time. Nice play by Ricky Weeks. He's also ahead of the Milwaukee 9th inning. Pardon me, Jeff. They'll have a pinch hitter for Julio. Then Jason Kendall and Craig Counsell.
Just a nice throw by Ricky Weeks. He knew he was not going to be able to throw the ball all the way to fielder, so he made a long bounce on it, and Ozzie Smith made that to perfection on the turf. Well, you can do it on the grass, but you've got to make sure that it's a long hop and not a short hop.
Of course, Davey Concepcion was doing that before Ozzie was out of the
Exactly. Exactly.
And 1 to Paul Giannis. Don't forget, tomorrow night, plenty of tickets available for the weekend series against St. Louis. Night games tomorrow night, 7:10 with fireworks after the game. Joey Votto bobblehead night for the first 30,000 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's Mother's Day. One pitch, and a fastball is outside. And a reminder, all 3 days over the weekend, as you're coming into the ballpark, swing by the Reds Community Fund booth where we have Cowboys Corner.
Right there beside the booth, right next to Gapper's Alley where all the kids are. Shaking hands. What did you say?
Kissing babies.
Taking pictures.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whatever needs to be done. Just welcoming folks to the ballpark.
Can you drop a big old yes, sir?
Yes, sir. Is that how LeMay does it?
And Lukey.
They both got it down.
They got it down. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Can they say I like my soft on the side?
3-1 to Paul Giannis, who has a couple of hits tonight. That one grounded foul. I was a little disappointed, though, in the way you said barbecue tonight when you read that promo for JTM.
Well,
I mean, you didn't use your normal.
I don't want to mess their stuff up. That's like professional stuff. It's not like goofing off. I'm trying to tell you it's serious.
And 2 to Giannis. And a breaking ball is too low. He draws a 1-out walk, naturally getting loose in the Reds bullpen. With the Reds sitting on a 6-5 lead in the bottom of the 8th as their closer, Francisco Cordero. He has not blown a save all year long.
Former Brewer.
Former Brewer indeed. And now a pinch hitter for Arthur Rhodes will be Chris Dickerson. Lights out work from the Reds bullpen so far. Micah Owings went the front 6, allowed 5 runs for Nick Massett in an inning and a third. Did not allow a hit. He walked a batter, struck out 3, didn't allow a run. And Arthur Rhodes goes 2/3 of an inning with a walk and 2 strikeouts. So we will see Cordero in the top of the 9th inning. In the air, short left field. And Braun is there for the 2nd out of the inning. You know, and again, we don't make up the lineup out here. And you know, Dusty was very thoughtful in his explanation the other night in Florida about the whole Dickerson-Nix debate and those kinds of things. But you know, even in a bat like that, and I'm sure Dusty will call Chris into his office and he'll say, "No, wait a minute here. It's a 1-run game. The guy in front of you just walked on 5 pitches.
It was a giveaway at that.
It was a 1-0 count. He's not throwing you a strike. I don't know if Chris Dickerson's ever laid eyes on Jorge Julio. And chased a pitch that he wasn't going to be able to do a whole lot with. And again, it's not sitting up here picking on anybody or saying this guy should do this or this guy should do that. But when fans, all of a sudden want to see one guy, that's the reason why they want to see the difference.
That's the difference, because Chris Dickerson is not in the place mentally that Nix is right now at the big league level.
Grounded foul by Taveras.
Now, where the rubber meets the road is the brass or Dusty or whoever the one who's making the call may be. They believe that in the long run, Chris Dickerson is going to be a great player because of all the tools that he possesses. Now, if that means that he's going to pass Lance Nix in that tool area, then that's why they're giving him that shot. But right now, Lance Nix he's playing heads and tails above where Dickerson's at. And in my mind, if you're just learning how to play the game and doing things the right way, I don't see a whole lot of age difference between Lance Nix and Chris Dickerson. It's less than a year, and the way that Lance Nix is hitting the ball, I just, it frustrates me that he's not in the lineup. I think that he could help this ball club win more ball games if he played every day. That's my opinion. But then again, we all have opinions.
2-2 on Willie Taveras. With Giannis at first and the Reds in front 6-5. Batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Breaking ball in the dirt, and Giannis will advance in a scoring position. That is a huge run out there at second base right now.
Boy, don't you know it.
Brewers on their way back home to open a 3-game series tomorrow night against the Chicago Cubs. Cubs are beating Houston tonight in Houston 4-2. That game at the bottom of the 6th inning. Cardinals have already won. In fact, they're more than likely already in town. They downed the Pirates at Busch Stadium 5-2 today. And a check swing pop-up will end the inning. So here we go in the 9th. It'll be a pinch hitter followed by Jason Kendall and Craig Counsell against Francisco Cordero. The Reds lead by a run. Francisco Cordero has the longest active save streak in Major League Baseball. He's 21 in a row. And he'll try and make it 22 in a row and pick up his 8th save in as many chances this year, with the Reds leading 6-5. Top of the 9th inning coming up. Pinch hitter will start things for the Brewers. And that will be Brad Nelson, a left-handed batter. This guy's got a lot of power. He had a monster spring, spent last year in AAA where he hit 18 home runs.
Hits from the left side.
First pitch fastball is called ball 1.
Get ready, baby.
So it is Nelson, Kendall, and Counsell. Should we go any further, we go back to the leadoff man, Ricky Weeks. High drive into right center field. Jay Bruce back at the warning track. Has room. My, oh my. You can exhale.
That baby by Nelson was hit right on the nose. The only problem is he hit it on the way up. When you talk about flat bat and hitting the top of the baseball and hitting down through it, that's what gives you the carry out of the ballpark. He did not do that. He hit it on the way up, and that just left the ball up there in no man's land.
Now Jason Kendall, 0 for 3 in the game. Has not homered this season. First pitch fastball is in there. Strike 1 at 95 miles per hour from Francisco Cordero. Of course, Cordero left the Milwaukee Brewers prior to last season as a free agent, signing with the Reds. Bottom fell out of that pitch to get ahead, 0-2.
And that's kind of a two-way street. You could say they let him leave.
They offered him a pile of money. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And he also, this is according to Cordero, he went back to them and said, "This is what the Reds have. Are you gonna match it?" They said no, and he signed with the Reds.
1-2 delivery, and he went around. That is strike 3. And Kendall has something to say to Greg Gibson before he heads back to the third base dugout.
This is where Kendall, as a catcher, believes that he should have checked down with first base umpire Andy Fletcher. And instead, Gibson makes the call himself. Unhappy Jason Kendall.
So now Craig Counsell. And lines it into the glove of Ramon Hernandez, making his first career start as a first baseman, and makes his best play of the night as Francisco Cordero notches his 22nd consecutive save. And the Reds split this 2-game series with the Brewers. Great bullpen work yet again for the home team. The quartet, or the trio, I beg your pardon, of Massett, Rhodes, and Cordero.
Great job of pitching by Owings to start the ball game. Not the greatest of luck, but the Reds came back and did exactly